Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Backlot Banter. My name is Tucker Hazel, and today I'm joined by my co-host, who's frankly the worst guy I know. Tanner and I started today. We're here to talk about the bad guys. Too. I hate this guy. I just can't. I can't get rid of him though. He keeps going.
Can't fucking
He's like,
stand this
he's
guy.
like, please review movies with me. I'm like, ah.
Uh-huh.
Tanner, let's talk about
Mm-hmm.
The Bad Guys 2, a sequel to a
Mm.
Dreamworks movie from a couple of years ago that I think
Mm-hmm.
was just before our consistent reviewing time.
Mm.
I don't think we reviewed that, but that was a good
Mm-hmm.
movie, and now we're
It
back
was.
for a second one of those, and
Yes.
we want to share our thoughts, but of course get your thoughts on the movie as well. If you leave a comment with your thoughts on The Bad Guys 2, or you can join our Discord server where you can talk to us directly about The Bad Guys 2. Tanner, we'll place a bet now. Will anyone join our Discord server to talk about The Bad Guys 2?
I don't think so.
No.
Especially because this is a kid, especially this is a kids movie, and if you have a kid, if you are a kid, I would say, hey, maybe don't join the Discord server.
And also maybe
Probably
don't
don't
watch
do
this
that.
video. I don't know. We might
Well,
curse.
probably don't watch this video. I cursed literally right at the top of this video, and you didn't even notice.
I was busy doing my bit about how I don't like you.
Yeah,
Tanner,
exactly. Yeah.
tell me your thoughts on The Bad Guys 2.
Tucker, I like The Bad Guys. I think that is a fun movie from a couple years back, and the same can be said of The Bad Guys too. It is a lateral move in terms of quality in a lot of ways, I feel, but that is totally fine. This is shaping up to be a consistently fun children's movie franchise that actually has some pretty fun voice cast
Oh yeah.
involved, of course. I think there are sort of changes, and I'd like to talk about them with you in the animation style, and I
Hmm.
think that points to some pretty interesting trends. And then, of course, I have a take here, Tucker, because I was enjoying myself for most of this movie, and I was like, hey, this is a really good time. I'm having a good time right now. And then I just sat back, probably the last 15 20 minutes. I was like, I wonder how much of my good time is being influenced by the Daniel Pemberton score over all of
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
action sequences, because that is like a rollicking good time.
Sure.
That is just him going like 11 out of 10 crazy mode with like the wow tick tick down like rock and roll and hip hop inspired like scoring for all these crazy action sequences that do get rested up in terms of scale
Sure.
from the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I think it's a great time. I think it's if you have kids, if you're interested in go seeing this, I would say definitely do so.
Yeah, it's just all around super well made. And I don't feel out of touch when I watch The Bad Guys or The Bad Guys too. There are a lot of,
Yeah.
especially like Illumination movies, some Disney movies where we go to them and we're going to them to see what is in the film industry right now. But
Hmm.
we're not going to see them because we're particularly interested or we think that thematically or artistically it's going to engage us as mid-20s
Right.
film critics. But the bad guys and the bad guys too, I'm like, no, this is genuinely funny. I really
Hmm.
like these performances. I think the art direction is excellent. I think
Hmm.
the animation is great. Tonally, being about criminals and heists and stuff is very distinct for the modern movie market. I
Hmm.
just think this is a great movie. I think the first one was a great movie. I think I maybe like this one a little less, particularly
Okay.
because I think there's a chunk in like a little bit after the like near the end of the second act where I think it slows down a lot, and I was like,
Okay.
what? Like the thing is, I think this movie works best when it's leaning into its really goofy comedy
Hmm.
and parodying crime tropes and heists and things like
Yeah.
that. And then there's a chunk in the second half where it focuses way more on the drama, where the drama is fine. It's very serviceable. I think the characters are decent,
Hmm.
but the drama is way less interesting to me than the comedy, especially the physical, cartoony Tom and Jerry esque comedy that this movie leans
Yes.
into. And so when you strip that comedy out for like a chunk of the movie, it's like, all right, serious mode. These characters
Hmm.
had serious backstories, and this is serious themes. Like, this doesn't quite hit for me. But
Yeah.
on the sides of that chunk where I was a little bit less interested, I was having a lot of fun. I was like genuinely laughing out loud at a couple of
Yeah.
things. It looks great. I think the action is really, really fun. Animation is top notch. So just full good marks for me
Yeah.
on Bad Guys 2.
I would tend to agree. I would tend to agree. Yeah. So what I really was coming down on, because you're right, Tucker. I was watching and I was like, how are we going to talk about this movie? Because like, what are we going to say? It has kids movie themes where it's like, hey, don't judge a book by its cover and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and be nice and thing
yeah,
and so on and so forth. I was like, yeah. I mean, we can mention that, but that's not really meat enough for a backlot banter review.
yeah.
But then I caught it and I was like, you know what's really striking me here is how I don't remember the first one all that well,
Mm.
but I at least caught in this one a lot more anime influence in
Hmm.
the animation styling.
Oh, okay.
Because the first one is obviously sort of aping, so it's sort of combining 2D and 3D, a little like motion lines and things like that during the chases and things like that. But this one has all of that, but then also really leans on things like impact frames
Mm.
during fights and chases and things, and also has moments where if the characters are like really shocked or surprised or like caught
Yeah.
or something like that, they will switch to just for like a half a second or so of like 2D animation. The characters are all like sort of more roughly drawn, and they have like big plain white saucer eyes that are like sort of shaking back and forth. I was like, that is anime imagery
Is
right there. That
exactly
is
totally.
exact. I was like, that's really interesting. I think points to, especially as these movies are pretty unique in the world of, kids mainstream animated movies being released in theaters. They are not Illumination or Disney or Pixar like you had mentioned,
Yeah.
and they're kind of even different than other things that DreamWorks has been doing in terms of the particular art direction and styling that they go for.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see them lean into those anime influences, like we have been kind of saying for a couple of films in the last few years.
Mm.
That there seems to be a greater influence of those Eastern artistic stylings in Western films.
Yeah, definitely. It is the animation style and how dynamic it is. I think is what
Hmm.
instantly grabbed me about this movie. Because watching them use a lot of speed lines and silhouettes and like smear
Hmm.
frames on the characters, it's really really engaging. And also in the first opening action sequence, which is this heist to steal a car, which I think is a really really well done sequence.
Hmm.
I was really interested in the speed of the characters because the movie has this really interesting style where when there's like a chase sequence or an action sequence, things will like slow down and speed up and slow down and speed up, and it gives it this
Hmm.
really sense of like herky jerky momentum, and I mean that in a positive way where it feels super cartoonish. It feels almost like a silent film comedy where it's like the speed of the cranking of the reel is what impacts like the speed. Like, that's how you kind of
Sure.
watch like a Harold Lloyd movie or a
Uh
Buster Keaton movie is with like them like moving very quickly and like slowing down, moving really quickly. And
huh.
I think that the action in this movie really lends itself to that, and it's very clear they have a unique tone that they're going for. This movie is not it's smooth, but it's not smooth when it wants it to be not smooth, and that gives these like this unique energy that I really thought was distinct because it does feel more artistically bold, right? I think we can probably draw a little bit of inspiration from Spider-Verse, which definitely helped
Yeah.
popularize
Yeah.
this style of
Absolutely.
like mixing in other visual styles into a 3D animated movie. This is more
Hmm.
traditional than Spider-Verse is,
Right.
but I still think it's really, really unique, and it pairs really well with the visual aesthetic of the movie, where everyone is just the most exaggerated facial features and gigantic mouths and
The I
massive
love the
eyes and arms and
I,
things.
I love the character designs of because we're doing talking animals, but there are human characters, of course. And yeah, there's just people like the commissioner or
Yeah,
whatever who is like 3 times as wide at her shoulders than she is at her waist or whatever. And
yeah.
the same can be said for Professor Marmalade who makes a return in this film. Oh my God, can you believe it? But no, yeah, like there's just
Tell to
like
the
great art
bad guys
direction, like you
fan base
mentioned.
is gonna be so mad at you for spoiling them. Oh
I'm
no.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, like neat stuff all around. Obviously we have, as I just mentioned, there are all the returning major voice
Yes.
actors from the first film. Let's see: Sam Rockwell, Awkwafina, Marc Maron, Craig Robinson,
Yeah.
and who's the
Piranha.
last one I'm forgetting? Piranha is
Uh.
Anthony
Oh
Ramos.
yeah, Anthony Ramos. Yeah. And they're
And then
all great.
yeah, and Zazie Beets is back as well as
Yeah.
the she is now the mayor, who is hiding her criminal past from the townspeople. Be out in the open about that. That's what I gotta say about that stuff. You can be a
Sure.
criminal and be a political leader now. It's
We
fine.
know
We're
about
all
that. That's so
we're
true.
all cool with it now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and
Anyway,
I really love the returning cast here. I think that what makes the bad guys so fun is how much of a friend group it feels like. This group of characters that we follow feel like they know each other very well. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. They're to the point where they rib each other constantly, but also when they need to escape, when they need to get an action sequence, work together, they can like use each other's abilities and skills and be like, oh, do this, do that, without like asking. It feels very natural. That they're like, oh, well, we know that this guy is good at that, so he's gonna go do this, and Wolf has got this whole plan in his head. The group of characters, I think, is really well balanced. I think that they're really, really fun together. I think all the voice performers. Tanner, here's maybe a hot take, and I think you would probably agree. I think Webbs is Awkwafina's best character. I think it's her best performance.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she's very
discounting. Fun. Yeah, if we're discounting like her dramatic work, like like The Farewell or whatever, comedically speaking, especially in animated works, I would tend to agree.
Yeah. But I really love the cast, and this is something that was obviously a holdover from the first one. But one of the things I like the most about the bad guys, and this is so stupid, but I think it did a great job, is how satisfying the color palette of the characters is when they're together. They all fit into this nice aesthetic color palette. You got the yellow of Snake, a little bit of red, and you got the big gray body of Shark, and a little bit of green with orange, and the gray, and then Wolf's eyes are yellow. And I'm like, ooh, it's just so satisfying. Like for a guy that
there's a richness to it.
It feels so particularly designed. And I like these characters a lot. Like my only problem, my only like semi-major problem with the Bad Guys series is I don't like how generic the characters' names are. I wish they were a little bit more interesting than Shark and Wolf and Piranha. But ultimately, that's not that big of a deal. But I like the characters a lot.
And here's the thing I have with that, Tucker, because not all the animal characters have that naming convention.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
None of the new ones
because like, well, kind of. But like Zazie Beets is like Mayor Fox something.
Foxington.
Foxington?
Diane Foxington, though.
Sorry. But then there are new characters whom we should talk about. 3 new characters, the Bad Girls, if we can call them that.
They said in the trailer, but they don't say it in the movie, I don't think.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Anyway, it is Danielle Brooks as Kitty Cat. We have Maria Bakalova as Pigtail Petrova. And then Natasha Lyonne as Doom,
or
a.k.a. Susan.
Yeah.
So first two, I'm like, sure, there's, the name is sort of largely contained within the character name, sure. What is the deal with Natasha Lyonne's bird character being named Doom?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the hell is that?
Yeah. I think the point is the joke when she reveals her name is not Susan, and she's like the edgy character, and Doom is an edgy name. I don't know. I think that's probably as deep as it goes.
But at the same time, I'm like, call her like Raven. That is a name and an animal name.
That's true.
And what she is.
She might be a crow.
Maybe she's a crow. Yeah. I don't know. Who cares? Who can tell the difference?
Whoa. Tanner, in that world, you can't say that.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You can't say that way, baby.
Cancel me if you must.
What do you think about the Bad Girls as an extension of the cast? I think that they present an interesting moral conflict for our core group of characters. I think that I like the performances of them on the whole. I will say I think Kitty Cat and Danielle Brooks is probably the character I am interested in the least.
Yeah, which is also the character that gets the most time.
Yeah, but on the whole, I like them. I like their designs. I think their performances are good across for the most part. But yeah, I think that they're good, but not as good as the core group of bad guys characters. Because we don't get enough of what their dynamic is, other than Cat orders the other two around. But it feels like kind of weird and imbalanced.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I mean, the movie is ultimately not really about them. They are, they don't have like to learn a lesson or anything like that. They are ultimately just like the new bad guys that the first bad guys must defeat to clear their name, and to become truly good guys now.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like, and so when they do scenes where like Kitty Cat is talking about her like tragic backstory of how she learned to do heisting or whatever, it was like
lollipop. That was honestly, Tanner, that's really dumb. I really don't like that because it also doesn't really point to why she became ostensibly by the end of the movie a supervillain. Like, she's not a good-natured heister, like it seems like everyone else is, including the other two of her team members. She has this more malicious touch to her, but the only thing we know about her is that when she was a kid, she was not given lollipops, so she started stealing lollipops. And so at the end of it, she's like, "Oh yes, I'm finally they're gonna see who I am." Like, what the hell? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How? This does
Talking about?
not track for me.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 but then you also you get some comedy out of like the about like Snake and Doom, like
You can
being
call her
in
Susan
love.
if that helps you.
I guess so. Susan,
Yeah,
Snake and Susan being in love, which is there's plenty of
yeah,
gags
like,
derived from that,
good
and then
jokes.
like Maria Bakalova is like pretty fun as Pigtail
Oh
Patrol.
yeah. Oh
She's like a
great. She's
huge
great.
bad guys like
Yeah.
fangirl,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty good. And I feel like they integrate pretty well into the heist sequence, the big
Yeah.
wedding sequence that
Mm-hmm.
they all are in
Great
on.
scene.
It doesn't feel like any of them are sort of like ancillary to the plot at any point.
Yeah.
I guess Kitty Cat kind of is because she's like sitting in the car overseeing all of it. But
Her
anyway,
part of
she
it.
gets
Yeah.
involved anyway. Yeah. But then like ultimately all the cartoon heist stuff, and they do like three sequences, I would say, three heist sequences in this hour and a half, hour and 40 minute movie.
Yeah.
They're all very good.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
like all of them, especially like the double cross of like the wedding thing is really fun. The reveals therein. The luchador sequence I think is some of the best animation in the entire film, just
Yeah.
because you get to animate like these giant wrestlers and all the color and all the crazy costumes, of course. But then also when they're running away, like the giant wave of crowd people that is chasing them is really fun to
Yeah.
see as
It's
well. And then
excellent
of course
imagery, and to the point
yeah.
that I was making earlier, I really like how this movie, in its own internal coherence, is super cartoon logic. We often
hmm
see the DreamWorks movies or Illumination movies where, well, no, Illumination movies are way more goofy, but DreamWorks movies like How to Train Your Dragon or Kung Fu Panda and stuff, like
hmm
they have their own internal coherence, but they don't like go like over the top with it.
There's not the Looney Tunes style
Exactly.
of logic that can be inherent.
Yeah.
They have cartoon logic, but not like the really outsized like, yeah, a crowd of people can turn into a tidal wave that chases you
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and especially with the animal characters of this movie leaning into how you animate their bodies and you squash and stretch them and sling them around and
hmm
like slap them against
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it has this Tom and Jerry esque thing. And one of the moments, this is really a small touch, but one of the moments I
hmm
laughed at the hardest is this moment when they're pulling up to the luchador fight, and
hmm
in Wolf's like tiny little crappy jalopy, Shark is jammed in there and his face is like pushed into a
Just face in the
square,
window.
and I just cracked up immediately because it has this like you slap a pan into Tom's face and Tom and Jerry thing where it's like
uh-huh.
he's like all stretched out and
hmm
I just think that the fact that they lean into how goofy this is and allow the characters to be squashed and stretched and messed about,
hmm
it gives it this really fun kinetic energy that I think is really excellent.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really good time. If I can point to someone, someone outside of our range of experience who liked the movie, there was a I believe like a little like 10-year old boy in front of me with his like dad or something like that, and he was jamming along. He was having a grand old time doing
Yeah.
this thing. And you know what? Credit to this kid and his parenting. Like not making noise, not like talking, not doing anything. He seemed more locked into the movie than his dad is. His dad was like kind of on his phone and walking in and out of the theater. Well, this kid was just jumping up and down in the seat, having a grand old time. Especially when like again, like I want to mention again the Pemberton score kicks in. He is rocking out. I was like, hell yeah, kid, I am rocking out too. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a really good time with this.
Quickly, we might as well, just to have this be a comprehensive review, talk about what the
Oh sure.
plot actually is. The bad
Oh
guys
sure.
are trying to go good. The bad girls, as we'll call them, frame
hmm
them for stealing a bunch of objects that have what was the term?
MacGuffinite.
MacGuffinite. Yes, they're made of MacGuffinite or some metal. Which
Uh-huh.
is initially like, okay, that's kind of funny. They lean very far into it being like the
Yeah.
magnetic or atomic opposite of gold, so it's a gold magnet. Kind of
Right.
fun. And the goal then is that they must do these heists to not clear their kind of clear their name, but not really. And so that the bad girls can go into space, activate the MacGuffinite magnet, and it will suck all the gold off the planet. Now that plan is so cartoonish, so ridiculous. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. But the goal being to have all the gold is, and also the fact that they're like, this is gonna destroy the world, like they saved the world. I'm like,
yeah, well,
what are you talking about?
I was like, what now? What we're gonna save the world? I was like, huh? What? I don't know.
From
Well,
not having any gold.
Hey,
it would,
you know
would
what?
change the economy quite significantly.
It would. Well, no, the U.S. I don't know if this is the case in the bad guys universe. The U.S. is not on the gold standard anymore. That's been the case for about 60, 70 years at this point.
No, but I'm more mean like an insurance level, right? Like the insurance companies will be so slammed with my rare jewelry and miscellaneous goblets and such have been stolen from me.
And I know you have many miscellaneous goblets. Yeah. I know that.
But what do you think about this plot here? The MacGuffinite, the gold magnet, and then something we haven't even talked about, this space station final action sequence with all the gold swirling around.
I think that the space station final action sequence is really cool looking. The plot is fine. Like it's a fine enough vehicle for all the things that we've been talking about up till this point. It's not like groundbreaking or like meaningful as a like kids movie plot or anything like that. It is a vehicle for fun. It is a vehicle for fun, and it sort of leans on like some spy tropes and some heist tropes, of course, while heightening it up and also simplifying it down for like kids to be able to keep up and understand it. So yeah, it's fine. It's like I mentioned, kind of. I don't really remember the plot of the first movie. It seems to be a little bit more bombastic than that film. But altogether quite good and fun, I would say.
Yeah. I think that I was a little. I was not sold on that final action sequence being in space initially. I think that part of the reason why I like the visual style of the movie so much is it has this sort of like very warm downtown LA like 60s 70s vibe to it, where everything's like gold and palm trees and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's like, God, this looks really good. And the space station loses all of that, obviously. But as soon as they start having these like orbiting rings and waves, tidal waves of gold, I'm like, that's remarkable imagery. I mean, it's massive scale. We get this really cool shot of them going up the rocket, like jumping, and the sun is cresting behind them. Like, oh, okay, I see you, DreamWorks. Like, I'm just like, this is really cool stuff. So I ended up really liking it by the end. Then the final point, Tanner, is how the movie ends, which is that because they have saved the world. Mayor Foxington has lost her role as the mayor. The now 6 bad guys characters, including Diane, have now been hired by apparently the U.S. government to be secret agents, officially sanctioned secret agents of Izglop.
For the agent, yes, Izglop. Setting up, of course, a Bad Guys 3, but I'm also like, I mean, this smells of like Netflix original series starring the bad guys, Agents of Izglop or something like that. I don't really know what
they can't call it that.
They could. Anyway,
but I think it's a fun idea to continue this series,
of course.
To give it a different kind of flavor, up the stakes even more, give it like a world traveling thing.
Kind of following the trajectory of like a Fast and Furious franchise as well, where they start off as like thieves and then they're like government agents or whatever.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Tanner, what's your score going to be for the Bad Guys 2?
7 out of 10. Good time. Go see it.
Yeah. I'll say 7.3 out of 10. Really, really liked it. Had a very fun time. Got some genuine laughs out of me. There's a lot of great hard cuts to some sort of funny joke. There's the moment at the end where it's like, "Don't worry, we're all gonna." And there's just cuts to they're all dead and the commissioner's giving a speech.
We're gonna land this thing or we're gonna die trying. Boom.
It's a good comedy. There's a lot of funny stuff. Everyone's giving excellent performance. I think especially Sam Rockwell is great. I think Craig Robinson
he's going
is
like
great.
Full like this is my Danny Ocean moment, but it's me voicing a wolf in a kids movie. But it doesn't seem like he's phoning it in. No one is considering that. Yeah.
No, and that's I think what really really sells me on this series is the voices match the character designs so perfectly. it was to the point where I felt like, and maybe this is just how good the animation is, how good the performances are, that I felt like I could see like the facial tics of these actors that I know so well in live action. But you're seeing Natasha Lyonne, you're like, oh, I've seen Natasha Lyonne in a lot of things, and then you're watching like a animated crow beak mouth, and I'm like, but I can still tell that's Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah.
You get these little ticks and moments from Piranha, and you get this little flappy hair thing, and I'm like, God, there's like these little touches that I think really sell it.
These are like just very well done kids movies that I would say are kind of go under discussed and underrated in like the like kids movie discourse that crops up every so often in the film world. Anyway, good time, fun
good
stuff.
time. Go see it. Give it your support, and everyone, we'll see you next time.